And we're
It's happening.
live again.
It's happening. Episode 8.
Let's go.
One step
8.
closer. One step
Let's
closer to the threshold.
let's
And we're
go.
keeping it warm, keeping it
We got
real.
2 episodes this week, right? Is the second episode this week? Maybe? No? Okay. First episode this
No.
week. But 2 episodes away from Naval's 10 podcast episodes.
Threshold. Correct.
Threshold. Let's go. Let's go. Naval's been up to a lot of stuff lately, but let's not go there. Let's ask you, Ian. What have you been up to? How are you doing?
Doing good. The weather is not great here in Austin, so we're pushing through. Preparing for a triathlon. So yesterday I was swimming. I was doing 20 laps in the swimming pool. And at some point, I don't know how, when you're swimming for a long period of time, your body kind of adjusts to the water
Okay.
and it feels like you're kind of floating and losing the sense of balance. It was a very interesting state that I was.
You're
when I
saying
was
afterwards when you go outside,
No,
you're
no,
like
no.
having a hard time to
During the
walk.
water, when
Okay.
you're swimming for more than 20-25 minutes, something in the body is changing. Something your head might feel numb, and you get in the flow. Let's say you find the rhythm.
Okay.
That it's
Interesting.
very interesting. You feel like a fish. Allow me to say, you feel like a fish.
You already said it. I don't need to allow you to do anything. I cannot imagine myself swimming for 25 minutes. I don't think I've ever done that. That's a lot of swimming, at least for
That's
my levels. But
Do you know
wow,
how to
what?
swim? Do you know how to swim?
I think I know how to swim, just like enough for um recreational purposes, not
Okay.
enough. Like I wouldn't know how to, like, if there's something dangerous and I'm to swim away from it. I don't think I would be able to swim away from it. So I don't know how to
Swim,
swim to save my life, but I know how to swim
swimming
for fun.
Swimming is very much about controlling your breathing,
Okay.
because if you manage to control your breathing and not lose the
Yeah.
rhythm of breathing and not panic, then you can do it for a long period of time. The first mistake someone is doing when start swimming is that they panic and they start breathing very hard, and you burn a lot of energy like that, and then you cannot continue. And also
I
doing
see.
many movements that are unnecessary.
This reminds me of the time that we went to San Diego and we tried to surf. No, sorry. We didn't manage to surf in San Diego. We surfed in LA because we met the Brazilian guy, Rafa, and he had a lot of surfboards. And I remember we went with him and he gave us the surfboards, and I was trying so hard to catch a wave. I got so tired at some point, and the time that I kind of caught a wave, like kind of stood up, it got really wavy, and there was a lot of people, and somehow the water was pulling everyone into like the same circle. And I remember when you said panic there, I remembered like it was yesterday. I panicked so much because I looked around me and there was like 4 surfboards with like surfer looking guys, jacked guys. They all looked like they knew what they were doing. And I was just trying to get outside, and I was like good 10 minutes trying to swim outside, and I stayed in the same place. Or not even, I was being pulled into the water. And some guy basically like gave me some tips that I don't even remember now that helped me, and he also gave me a push. So yeah, I do remember panicking in water. Good thing I had a surfboard though, because I don't think
Yeah.
I've
And
known
and
what to
water
do.
is not forgiving. If you panic in water and you make a mistake, you're basically are having serious issues. And in the swimming pool, thank God there are lifeguards, but out there in the wild, in the sea, things can go wrong. It's a
I
dangerous
need
sport.
you to get a little closer to the mic so that I can hear you better. But speaking of unforgiving things, I think this is a perfect segue for what I want us to talk about today.
Very interesting. Yes, go.
Today, or this week, not just today, I feel like could be dubbed Hack Week, but not the funny Hack Week that you do with your colleagues and you're all like hacking new products. This, like, for example, this company I worked at, we had an annual Hack Week. And then this one year we did it twice. Basically, what that was is you were not required to do anything from your Jira or whatever, like ticketing system. You didn't have to do the job that you're assigned to do. And so for a week, you could choose to work on whatever it is that you wanted to work on that would be valuable to the company. So you didn't need approval from anybody. You just had an idea. It was like hackathon vibes. We'll call it that Hack Week.
Was that remote or was that in person?
That was remote. Unfortunately, that was remote. I did meet with that company for like retreats in person, which was really nice. But that Hack Week per se was remote, and it was also during COVID, so it was kind of like not an option to do in person. But that was a fun Hack Week. This week's Hack Week is probably not a fun one, at least not to the companies that have been involved in those hacks. I want to share my screen and show you the various different tweets that I found with news from this week. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. There we go. And our first hack of the week, and arguably one of the most important ones, was Vercell. So Vercell got hacked over the weekend, and they basically one of their employees logged in to a third-party tool with Google like authentication, and somehow the other tool got hacked, and they got access to Vercell's employees' Google Auth, and so they were able to use Google as if they were from Vercell, and then that somehow escalated from within, and they got access to some more sensitive stuff. The thing that I want to highlight today is so obviously Vercell like made a post about it, and they gave instructions on what you were supposed to do to protect yourself. They say that they know which people's environment variables and which users' data got exposed. So they say that they reached out to them specifically. But they also gave general guidelines.
Did they reach out to you?
They did not reach out to me.
Okay,
Luckily, they did not reach out to me. Good that they did not reach out to me. But what I find really interesting is that those hackers, they're like, they're like people like us as well, right? Like they have a forum, like a group chat where they post things. They have a profile. So like apparently, I'm not sure how accurate this is, but apparently this is the hacker, right? Shiny Hunters. And then the other one that I want to
what forum is that? What
highlight?
blog forum?
I have no idea. I am not even I'm not even like gonna try to go look for it. I don't care. Probably like dark web. You need, I don't know, Tor browser to get access to this. These types.
You guys
forums.
write in the chat if you know what forum is this. I want to participate. I think you can find many interesting diamond gems in this forum.
I don't think it's very hard to find if you're that curious. The tweet here says that looks like someone got early access to Claude Mythos, which is really funny. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. But I want to go to the other screenshot, and I want to read you a little bit the post from this hacker. Greetings all. Today I'm selling access key source code database from Vercell company.
Okay,
this person doesn't even care about writing properly. Like he didn't even go to AI to rewrite this data. He was like, from Vercell company. Vercell Cloud. Vercell is an American cloud computing company. He's like explaining to the purchaser. He's like listing this as if he's listing on Facebook Marketplace. And then he goes on to talk about Vercell. The company is widely known. and then as the creator of Next.js, and then he goes on to talk about Vercell a little bit more. Vercell owns Next.js, Turbo.js, all the things that Vercell owns. And then he goes deeper into saying what kind of data that he got. He got the name of the person that got compromised. And then he's like, listing price, 2 million USD. If you're interested, contact this email
Wait,
or this telegram.
this guy is trying to sell Vercell to someone else.
This guy is trying to sell, he cannot sell Vercell itself, right? Because Vercell itself is not for sale. He's trying to sell data that he got from Vercell.
Data on Vercell. To whom?
Right? So to anyone that's willing to pay. This guy doesn't care, right? This guy just wants to bank the 2 million and move on. This is very interesting because a lot of people use Vercell, especially more recently.
No, that's a very good price. That's a great deal, I think, the 2 million for database data. But I mean, many people would be interested in this kind of data, right?
I think so too, because I mean, it is a bit of a gamble because you don't really know what type of environment variables you're getting. But let's say if you're getting the database URL, which is a very common environment variable that a lot of projects would have up on Vercell. If you are getting database URL of a somewhat big project, somewhat big company, and you drop that or you copy that or you change that, there's a lot that you could do that can earn you a lot more than 2 million. So but I guess if this could be done, the person that hacked and is selling would have done these things first before he's like willing to share the treasure that he found. It's very interesting. I wonder how much AI was used. Or like, I wonder, is this possible because of AI? Would something like this have been possible before the era of AI? And then if you think about the layer, like the Vercell employee used this other service. The other service was built by a company that probably used AI to build the service. And so when the other company got compromised because they were moving so fast, they didn't really care about compliance or about security so much. There is actually a little bit more to this that I'm not sure how much we want to go to because we don't have all the time in the world. But the other company claimed to have done an SOC compliance certificate, I think that's what it's called, from this company that got banned by YC called Delve. So this company that Vercell is using used Delve for their compliance certificate. And they had that on their website before Delve went fraudulent, or before Delve got accused by YC that they are doing fraudulent audits. And so this company claimed that they've done audits. Maybe they did. For all they know, the audits that they paid money for was legit, but apparently it's not. So there's so many layers to it. People are shipping code so fast that like it's an attacker's or a hacker's, like very happy era. It's like there's so many projects out there that have all these vulnerabilities that attackers can take advantage of. So if you think that 2 million, do you think 2 million is a lot of money, Eon?
No, I don't think it's a lot of money.
I don't believe you. I do think that you think that 2 million is a lot of money. I do think that genuinely 2 million is a lot of money, at least for the vast majority of humans. I think a lot of people don't have that kind of money. I do think 2 million is a lot of money, but when I looked at the next hack of the week, 2 million did not seem like a lot of money. And the next hack of the week is a hack that I'm going to be very honest, I don't really understand very well. And but it's very interesting. Instead of 2 million, this is 200 million.
There we go.
This is a serious hack. This is some serious money. And this hack involves 2 or 3 crypto organizations. One is quite well known, the other 2 not so much, but they have obviously become very well known because of this hack. So we're looking at the blog post or the article on Twitter from the DAO, decentralized autonomous organization called Kelp. And so Kelp got
Kelp is the well known.
Kelp is not the well known. Well,
Okay.
at least to me, I did not know Kelp. Maybe they're well known to the crypto industry, but I did not know them before. Earn from real world commerce. They seem to be advertising. Which, by the way, before we delve into the details of the hack, getting hacked nowadays is kind of good marketing because nobody knew Kelp, or at least from my perspective, not a lot of people knew Kelp. Now Kelp is like very on the map. We're obviously talking about it right now. The crypto industry, this is one of the biggest crypto hacks. So all of the crypto industry is talking about this DAO. And so like regarding the hack, there's details on it here. We go into it on April 18th. RS ETH was drained from RS ETH bridging adapter. A lot of words that I don't know. What happened? 2 RCP nodes hosted by Layer 0 are compromised. So Kelp is obviously accusing Layer 0. Now, I tried to read this. Not a lot of this makes sense to me. I had one of my best friends explain to me a little bit. I thought at the time that I understood, but later when I tried to explain, it was very clear that I didn't understand. But what's really interesting to me, without needing to know a lot about the details, is something that was pitched to me as a very secure way to do currency transactions, a very secure way to transfer tokens from an account, from an address to another address. Ethereum somehow got tricked into thinking that a fake transaction was real transaction. And then what these people did, because the fake transaction didn't have a lot of value within itself, but what these people did that was ingenious is they used the fake transaction to take a loan from crypto's most famous or most popular crypto bank, Aave. So these guys go to, and this meme captures it perfectly, because these two lesser known, one very well known companies or organizations or DAOs or whatever they want to call themselves, these three are all pointing to each other that they're at fault. And so Kelp, lazy development, or lazy DNV, I don't know what DNV means. I thought it was developer, but maybe not. Is pointing at Aave that gave the loan to the hacker. Aave is like, you guys are responsible because, you told me that
you ask a
it was
loan
safe
from
to get
us,
the
we're
loan.
going to give you a loan. Yes, it's not our responsibility.
Exactly. So now Aave has given a loan to somebody who doesn't have the real money.
And what is
LZ3's
part in the whole story?
This is like the Layer 0 that they're saying that Kelp DAO is accusing that they're the reason the hacker was able to get to do the fake transaction. And this is where, again, like, I don't know enough about the crypto world to understand how this works, but the way I understand it is they pin or they ask a few sources of the price of Ethereum live right now. And what the hackers did is they hacked one of those sources, Layer 0. All right? And they manually set the price to whatever they wanted. And then they DDoSed all the other services that the Kelp 0 cross checks with. So the only source of information was Layer 0. And when that was on for like maybe a few minutes, I don't know how long this lasted, they were able to make a transaction at the price that they had set, which was obviously, very, very low. It was like nothing. It's like they bought Ethereum for like 30 cents each, which is crazy. So they bought like 100 million of Ethereum. There it is, 40,000 RS ETH, about 100 million. And then they used that 100 million to take a loan from Aave, which was another, I think, 100 million or so. And then they did a bunch of other, like, well-known crypto tricks, or tricks to the crypto industry to get a little bit more money. And then they just like vanished or they went away. All that apparently anonymously.
Do you imagine this being an individual hacking group or someone that is independent? Or do you think it's possible that this can be an insider job? for the
I,
benefit of one of these companies that they see and they understand how these things work, because this feels to me that it's very complex to orchestrate to make it work. So it feels to me that there is a possibility things like that could be an insider job or someone that was involved in the companies, like taking advantage of the knowledge they have of how the systems work.
I think that is not far-fetched. Like, I think that there is attempts to do things like that all the time. Like, right now, as we speak, there's people that are working together trying to figure out how can they hack a system. And then 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000 attempts works out. And then we end up hearing about it because obviously 200 million got stolen, and there's all these organizations now that are trying to not lose that money. Right now, Aave is the one that lent the 200 million, and they're down 200 million. And Aave has had this really nice track record of never being hacked until recently, and it's kind of sad because they didn't do anything wrong and they still lost the money. It's like they got hacked, but it wasn't their fault they got hacked type thing.
Well, if it wasn't their fault or not, this is a different discussion to be made.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that is true. There's probably a lot more
You're a fucking
nuance.
bank. You should know who you're lending money to, especially these amounts. If
Yeah,
you
but
think of it simply,
yes, technically though, Aave worked the way it was set up to work. So like the hack happened kind of like outside their realm
Aave
of
didn't get
control.
hacked. As I read this, Aave didn't get hacked, but they
Correct.
lended money to hackers.
Correct. Correct.
So it kind of also the trust is compromised in a way.
Yes. Yes. And then it's like, okay, you didn't get hacked technically, but you still gave a $200 million loan. So like, it's almost irrelevant that you didn't get hacked technically. Like, oh my God, you've got this amazing technical security infrastructure and no one's ever hacked you. But then still somebody from not needing to hack you still made 200 mil from you. It is very interesting. It's also, is this a one person thing or is it a bigger group? Is it an insider job? I don't think we can know this, but I think with AI, it is very possible that it is a small team, is a small team of outsider, because if somebody was able to do small hacks before, now with AI, they can probably do projects with bigger scale. And then this is again a good segue to another. I've got a few more posts, but I think
I love how the context of today's cybersecurity. Keep going.
I've got a few more posts. Maybe we can brush over them very quickly. But speaking of AI and cybersecurity, Bloomberg just earlier, I think that was today, yesterday, reported that Mythos has been accessed by a small group of random people that were like together on Discord, and they somehow, I don't know what it is that they did, but they apparently guessed the URL or the access to Discord. And then one of my favorite replies to this is a small group of unauthorized users, and then it's like the president of North Korea, which is very humorous. Let's give him a quick like.
Why is North Korea so infamous about hacks and hacking?
Because they're very good at it. Earlier this,
like it's a big part of their economy and big part of their GDP.
It's big part of what their military does. Like that's like their cyber security team, or not cyber security, their cyber offensive team is very, very good. Earlier, like in March, we had a supply chain attack from Axios, or to Axios. And for those listening, if you don't know what a supply chain attack is, a supply chain attack is when they get access to something that gives them access to everyone that's using it without the people that are using it being in control. Like, instead of hacking my project or me individually, you hack a tool that I am reliant on, and then you get access to my project alongside
Indirectly.
millions of other projects as well. And this is one of the most dangerous types of attacks. And then North Korea implemented a supply chain attack on Axios like almost flawlessly last month.
Got it.
How much time do we have? We have another meeting to jump on to in a couple of minutes.
Lots of talent over there. I think that once the big tech realizes how much talent there is up in North Korea, there should be a lot of hires
I think they know that. I think they know that already. It's just they're sanctioned, and big tech cannot hire a North Korean-based hacker. Let's say they cannot hire them legally. They can also they could definitely hire them.
They can make a contract with them though,
especially on those websites that you're interested in visiting.
I'm already looking into them.
I know you are. All right, I think that is it for today's episode. It was a quick one. I think the takeaway from all of these things is I think we should focus on what we can do to protect ourselves. I think two-factor authentication is a non-negotiable.
If you see how people are storing their passwords,
passwords are not strong enough anymore. Passwords are just not strong enough anymore. You definitely need two-factor authentication. You probably definitely need as many layers as possible. Like, make it difficult for you to log into your own stuff, let alone others. I think that should be the standard going forward. I don't know what the future of protecting accounts will look like. It'll probably be very different than today. It will be very different to log in with Google or log in with Apple. But we don't know, and we'll find out.
Maybe you might have to verify that you're a human at some point.
It's very interesting, especially as many companies are now trying this new service called World ID. But then again, there is a lot of criticism, which is, I think, valid against that. Because what if ultimately that gets hacked? How do you reset your biometric password? Like, if I get hacked, I can change my password, and then whatever the hacker did between the time.
I think the solution to this is peptides.
I think there is probably not solution that we know of. The only thing that I could think of right now is, let's say I do scan my eyeball or my pupil with the orb, and then I get hacked. The only thing I could do is scan the other one and switch from my right eye to my left eye. Because then you only have two eyes.
If you scan this eye,
yes,
right? Then use also your other eye as a second option. Forget your passport scan. And then
is the other eye your two-factor auth? Is the other eye your 2FA?
So this is your password and this is your 2FA.
I see. See, I was wondering when you sat in front of that whiteboard, I was like, why is he sitting in front of the whiteboard? Now it makes sense. It proves to be very useful.
Exactly.
All right. Good stuff. Thank you all for sticking and listening till the end of this episode, and we will see you in the very next one.
Peace.